Welcome back to the art channel, guys. Thank you for joining us once again. So before we get this sketchbook video started, I just wanted to show you guys my new easel real quick, so let's check it out. So guys, this is my brand new easel. I got it about 4 or 5 days ago, I want to say, and it's absolutely beautiful. I've already done some paintings on it, actually. Yeah, it just looks beautiful. It functions amazingly. It's super solid. It's got these really strong legs. You can adjust the canvas to go more forward, like I have it, pretty straight up and down, or it can go further back. If anybody's wondering if you guys are setting up your own art studios or anything like that, try to keep your easel as flat as you possibly can, which is pretty difficult with easels like that. It's pretty hard to get them really flat or they'll just kind of fall over. But this is going to make my job so much easier because I can keep this easel flat. I can pretty much adjust it up and down as far as I want. You know, if I'm working with you know, a tall canvas and I need to do some details up here, I can stand up. Or if I want to sit down and kind of relax and work on the bottom part of the canvas, I can do that. You know, I've got my chair here. And actually this video, I guess, will turn into a really quick studio tour because I've totally revamped my studio. If you guys remember, I was working on this table, but this table was over here against the wall and I had this easel on top of it. And it was just kind of, it didn't really make a lot of sense. But this new studio setup that I've got is functioning really well. It's pretty amazing. So, you know, this is just my studio for the supplies. Well, you know, the table for the supplies, I'm sorry. I got my paints over here. I got my notes here. I got my, you know, mineral spirits and liquid here. And just my paints. And I'm sitting right here. And I'm right-handed. So this is just super convenient for me to mix my colors. And then, you know, do whatever it is I have to do. I can put my reference material right here on my computer. Or I can prop up that easel, bring the easel next to this easel, and post my reference photos right there. So you want convenience, you know, this is super convenient. The only thing that I don't have is like ideal lighting coming from the ceiling. I'm still kind of using my, you know, spotlight here. And you're not really supposed to paint with direct light on your paintings in the process of painting, but I don't really have a choice at this point. I live in an apartment. So I can't really be installing lights up here. I mean, unless I were to be granted permission from the, you know, the landowner or the landlord and all that stuff. So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys a little quick tour of my easel. It's really nice. I don't want to really get into this really super specifics. Basically, you just turn this knob to raise this, and you can raise or lower this by turning this knob. And then if you can see behind here, right there's another knob which raises or lowers this. So it's just a beautiful structure. It's the Carolina brand, like I said. Beautiful easel. I'm working on some really huge paintings right now, but I can't really show them because they feature people without clothes on, so I don't want to get demonetized or anything like that. But we will be doing some, you know, lots of future paintings on this easel, so hopefully you guys will see those soon. So anyway, let's stop rambling. Let's get to the sketchbook tour. I'm super excited to be here to make this video for you guys. Today we're going to be looking at my first sketchbook ever. This is probably about 5 or almost 6 years old now. These are not necessarily my first drawings ever. I probably just did a lot of drawings on scrap pieces of paper, and I do have those in my art collection somewhere. I am featuring one of my paintings. You guys have seen this. I just wanted to kind of put something back on the easel. Just to, I mean, I'm going to be standing in front of it, so you're not really going to be able to see it anyway, unless we move to the camera. But anyway, that's not really the focus of this video, but I just wanted to get something in the background. So this is a sketchbook, Strathmore sketchbook. I wonder if there's like a date on here of when it was produced or anything like that. Probably not, but it's pretty old. The drawings are not going to be very good drawings, but it's going to be an interesting retrospective to see how I've grown. Or perhaps haven't grown as an artist. I do think I've definitely grown. And you can definitely tell that by looking at the first sketch in this sketchbook. Now, I hope it's not too oversaturated with the lighting or anything like that. But yeah, I just didn't really have a concept of how to shade. I'm still struggling with that. My lines definitely were not very, you know, hard. They weren't very defined. But you can definitely tell there's a you know, there's a concept of how to draw a little bit at least. So let's turn to the next page. We might not get through the entire process of this sketchbook. We'll just kind of see how it goes. There's just a group of random lines, and I guess I was just kind of practicing with the pencil or something. I'm not sure exactly what I was doing there. But this one, I kind of like this one. We have a little landscape of a church. I think I drew this from a photograph or something. But hey, that looks pretty cool, and I could probably actually use that for future paintings. You know, that's actually not a bad rendering. It looks pretty nice, actually, so we give myself a pat on the back for that. Let's see what's on this page. Oh, this is hideous. I have no idea what that was supposed to be. It almost looks like it was traced. I don't know if you guys can see that. For some reason I can't see. Let me try turning this light off. I wonder if it's like, it's probably going to be too dark now. Yeah, that's too dark, so I'm going to keep the light on. But I'm sure it's, what's wrong with my light now? My light's not going to turn on. Hold on, guys. So now my light is back on. I don't know. Anyway, let's stop messing around with the light and just get back to the video here. So this is some kind of a portrait I was doing. Doesn't look very good, but it's kind of interesting. I don't know who it was supposed to be or what. Looks like there's a little figure drawing here that I did. Looks kind of interesting. Some of these might be kind of hard to see because you know, they're so lightly drawn. I didn't know much about shading, like I said, and this and that. Some more figure sketches, some terrible figure sketches. Just really no concept of how to draw, really, but at least I got the sort of the right proportions and some of the right lines and sort of the right places. This is kind of, I'm enjoying this process. Some more figure studies. I've definitely gotten a lot better. Like, this is pretty hideous actually, but it's kind of cool to look back to see how, you know, your drawings progress. Let's see what else we have in here. Got some more portraits, it looks like. I don't know if you guys can see that. Looks like I was trying to draw fingers and violins on this page for some reason. Fingers and violins. Who would have ever thought? See the finger right there. Not sure what the objective was there. I think I was just really experimenting, trying to just learn how to, like, you know, get used to the pencil. This is kind of cool. This is, I think this was supposed to be Carrie Job actually, because I've always drawn Carrie Job, but this is actually pretty hideous. Look how bad that is. It looks like a woman with a beard. I don't know what this is supposed to be here. Some kind of a portrait with a woman pulling her bra down or something. I don't know what that was supposed to be. Here's another interesting portrait. And they start to look more and more like people, but they're just so bizarre and hideous looking. Let me know if you guys think I've improved as an artist, because I definitely would assume that I have. I would sure hope that I have. Well, I remember this one. I do like this one. It's kind of cool. I remember this was like one of my first. I would make a good thumbnail right there. There we go. So that'll be the thumbnail. But that's a kind of a cool drawing. I forgot who this was modeled on, but I do like this drawing. I had a pretty good concept of shading. Yeah, I don't know. It turned out kind of cool. Looks like I was drawing just some more designs, maybe a sunflower up there if you guys can see that. So this is kind of cool. I'm enjoying this process. It looks like I did another portrait here, and I actually redid this drawing years after, but it looks like if you guys look closely, you guys can see I put a grid on the paper. You guys can probably see it a little bit. But just look how, I mean, I just had no concept of really how to construct a drawing, had no concept of how to really construct anything. I just want to make sure I'm going in the right direction with this notebook. Sometimes when you're looking through sketchbooks and stuff, this is actually, I'm hesitant to show the bottom part here, but this is like some male figure drawings that I was doing. Kind of interesting. Long time ago. You guys can kind of see what I was going for there. Interesting, huh? Let's see what else we have on this page. We have another drawing. Nothing, I can't even tell what that is, so I'm not going to show it. I'm not going to show that one. Looks like another sketch that went horribly wrong, so I scratched it out. I still do that to this day. Sometimes I'll just scratch out my drawings if I'm not happy with them. Let's see what else. A leg is another weird sort of portrait that was in the works. And I remember doing these drawings, just trying to figure out, like, trying to solve the problem of how to shade and how to do proportions. And I've got most of the concepts behind proportions and shading. You know, I have the concepts down, but I'm definitely not a master at shading yet. But even back then, I had no idea how to shade. I had no idea how important shading was. You know, working from dark to light and doing this and that. Here's another little portrait. You know, and you can see from the beginning I was a figurative artist, or at least a portrait artist. I wanted to convey people. I mean, look, her eyes are completely out of proportion. You know, so this is amazing to really go back and look at your, you know, your strengths and your weaknesses from how you've grown back then, from how you know, how much better you've gotten. Looks like some kind of weird male figure sketch that I did there. It's kind of cool. I don't remember actually ever drawing men much, but it looks like I kind of did. I don't know what this is. Looks like some hand sketches I was doing mixed with a really weird abstract portrait. But who knows? This might be worth something someday when my art, you know, finally takes off. I remember this. In fact, this was a profile of my ex-girlfriend. That's kind of bizarre. So you know, it's not just a sketchbook, it's like a snapshot into my life at the time. And I did start drawing from life. I drew, you know, my ex-girlfriend at the time. I drew a portrait of my friend Tom Denny. I feel like the camera's a little bit crooked here. Just a lot of this stuff is not really worth showing because it's just doesn't look like anything. This is actually the first from life study I did of my friend Tom, I believe, that went on to turn into a painting that I'll show you guys at the end of this video, perhaps, if I remember. Just some pencil. Here's a portrait of one of my cats. I think I remember this pretty well. Can you guys see that? It's kind of hard to make out because my pencils was so light. I had no concept of how to, you know, how to shade properly or how to really do any of that. Here's some more portraits. And all my portraits look like mummies back then because I had no idea how to, like, shade teeth or anything. They just look like rotten mummies, kind of. But it's kind of cool looking, you know. There's a little portrait of an eye I did. Here's another portrait of somebody. I forgot who that was supposed to be. You know, but you can definitely see how I was striving for something. Some more profile sketches. I think that was another profile sketch of my ex-girlfriend there. She had this kind of nose that stuck out. I remember a portrait of an eye there. Here's another profile. And this is weird. It's like a weird profile sketchbook of some random woman that you guys have no idea who I'm talking about. But you can kind of see how I was trying to solve the problem of shading lips, you know, and doing this, that, and the third. Wasn't very successful on any of these drawings, just a blank page. Some more profile sketches. For some reason I was all about the profile sketch. This is actually really cool because, you know, it encourages me to go back to the basics and maybe, you know, explore some of the ideas that I had from the get-go. You know, some non-eventful sketches here, nothing too interesting. I remember this page. I drew like a little Renaissance Shakespearean looking kind of dude right here. You guys can see that. Not sure what the exact idea was. I think I was also doing some more studies of lips and noses here again. I remember this drawing that I actually thought was a pretty good drawing at the time, and I went on to explore this topic again and again. It's just like a woman sitting down, but it looks like there's also, this paper is not very high quality, so you'll see there's, you know, portraits from the other page kind of bleeding into it and so on and so forth. Interesting. Here's another portrait study. I was all about the, drawing women even back then. So that's what I did. Had no idea what I was doing, had no concept, had no, but I just wanted to do it. So that's what I did. Here's another sketch of that similar pose of the woman sitting down with, her long legs and such. I'm trying to get the paper a little straighter. But you can definitely see how the passion was there. There was the drive. There definitely was not the skills or the know-how. Here's a pen sketch of the same woman. I think it's actually better if I hold the stuff back like this a little bit. Again, I explored the same theme on this page. I forgot what that drawing was or what picture that was. It was probably like some plus-size model that I liked or something. But you can definitely see how I was just practicing, trying to get the ideas down. I think we did it again here. I wrote light source up here in the corner, trying to solve the problem of where the light source was going to be coming from. I still haven't really mastered much of that. Maybe I have in some ways. You can kind of see where that's going there. Here's some other positions of figure studies I was doing. So you guys can see from the beginning, from the get-go, I wanted to be, a portrait figurative artist. And that's kind of, we're still kind of going in that direction. Nothing real eventful on this page. This is kind of interesting. It's like a woman's hand here, and this is like her bra, I guess, I'm assuming. Kind of interesting. Non-eventful pages again here. I did a sketch of a belt here. Kind of interesting. It's like a belt just kind of hanging down from something. Here's some little fruit sketches that I did. Fruit sketches are always good. Let's see what else we have here. Here's a little sketch of a vase. You guys can if you guys can kind of make that out. I don't know if you guys can even see that. See, what I'm seeing on the screen is like just a white piece of paper because the lighting is so strong. So I hope you guys can see some of these. Another hideous portrait. A little portrait of a baby that I did. If you guys can see that. It's not showing up very well. A lot of these drawings are not showing up well. Here's a portrait of a smile. You guys can see the teeth and the lips. My shading was just not there, so a lot of these drawings are so light you can barely make them out. Some portraits of noses and eyes. So there was a lot of drive there, and I feel like that's the one thing about being an artist. As time goes on, sometimes you lose that drive because you don't realize how important it is to, because it's not the same disparity. Like after a while, you kind of feel like, oh, I can draw, I can shade, I can do this and that, I'm pretty good at this or I'm pretty good at that. And you don't really have that disparity to explore and to get better because maybe you've gotten overconfident and that sort of thing. So it's always important to draw. I'd say even if you're like a painter, like a serious oil painter or a serious watercolorist or a serious acrylic painter, you need to break your schedule up into 3 days painting, and then the rest of the 3 or 4 days of the week you really need to be drawing. Unless you've maybe been drawing and painting for 30, 40, 50 years and you're already a master or something. Here's another like little weird Shakespearean portrait I did. Sort of like in the style of, I don't know, I was sort of, a lot of this stuff was just drawn from imagination, I think, too. Some of it might have been reference photo material. But I was just sort of trying to explore how to draw with a pen and also how to draw with paper. I remember this was another cat portrait. If you guys can make that out. You see his little 2 eyes here and his nose, and you guys can kind of see that. Some of them I'm just skipping past because they're kind of monotonous. I'm trying to look for something that's more interesting. Here's a figure pen sketch that I did. You can definitely see the inspiration from the early Renaissance. I was trying to get that Titian sort of vibe. I was trying to get I was concentrating on drawing people. That's what I'm doing still. I think it's interesting how you can see my artistic vision has not really changed from the beginning. We have some little weird, I remember doing this page. It was a little, like a weird evil church that I was drawing. That had like I put like a demon over here. And so, you know, this is why it's so awesome and so interesting to explore your old drawings, because this is kind of where it all came from. And I mean, that's what makes it so interesting. What else do we have here? Sort of non-eventful weird portraits. We have a little study of I think it's actually supposed to go like this, maybe not. A little study of a hand. I think that was actually my hand, actually holding a pen or something. Just some weird designs and stuff I was doing. Some more eye portraits. You know, this is like basic stuff that I just struggled with. Trying to draw two eyes in proportion to another. Trying to draw the hairline. Trying to draw the structure of the face. You know, just stuff that I, you know, take for granted now that I can do pretty easily. You know, I struggled with back then. Here's another portrait, I believe, of Carrie Job again, which doesn't look anything like her, but you can definitely see how I was trying to solve the problem of shading and that sort of thing. So this is so interesting to me. Let's see here. Yeah, some more portraits. I don't know who that was supposed to be. Another like weird mummy portrait. These are like, look, they all look like weird mummy portraits. That's just because I didn't really know what I was doing. But I had the inspiration, I had the drive, you know. Here's a weird profile sketch right here, and then above that's a little sketch of a mouth and a nose. Some more mouth sketches here. Let's see here. Some hair studies I was doing here. Some studies of hair, you know, you can kind of see it. Keep getting mixed up of which direction we're going here with the... This is kind of an interesting portrait, and I remember I thought this looked kind of cool at the time, but looking back it's pretty horrifying. But hey, this is where it all began, you know, and you can definitely see how, like, you know, give yourself, if you're ever doing this, give yourself a pat on the back or two, because, you know, you are a good artist, you have gotten better, you know, and I'm sure that I'm going to look back 5 years from now from the sketchbooks that I'm doing now, and it's going to be a similar process. You know, but I'm actually proud of myself to see where, you know, where we've grown since these days. Well, this was a long time ago, you know. What else is on here? Some of these are so hideous, I'm not going to even show them. Here's another weird mummy portrait that I crossed out because I realized it just didn't work. But I mean, man, I'm telling you, if you can go from this, you know, to like the stuff that I'm doing now, you know, anybody can do it. Let's see what else is in here. Here's another study of my friend Tom Denny that we were working on. You know, I was working from life back then. Now I work mostly from photographs for some reason, but I would like to get back into working from life because I think, you know, that was super important, especially when you're starting out. That's super important to do. But oftentimes it's just hard to like convince people to sit for you unless you pay them. And so I mostly paint from photographs for practical reasons. I remember this drawing very, very well. I still think it holds up. Sorry, I still think it holds up pretty well. A little profile drawing. I think I got the picture from Google or something. Kind of monotonous. Looks like I was trying to draw some type of bodybuilder or something there. Not sure what the deal was with that. We're almost done here. I think we'll get through the rest of this video. Definitely enjoying the process here. Here's another sketch I did of my friend. And this is kind of what the painting, this is where the idea for the painting came to be. Was from doing these little on-the-spot little sketches. Here's another little portrait I did that actually went on to be a painting. I think I actually gave it to her. Let's see here. Looks like I was experimenting with some oil pastels. Looks like an almond or something, or maybe a rock, or some type of fruit. Let's see. Ooh, cool. We got some banana sketches in here. Look how beautiful that is. So you can definitely see how I was just exploring. I was exploring the possibilities. This was before I got into oil painting, mind you. Here's another little preliminary sketch of that other drawing that we were talking about. Here's like a, this was, I remember this clearly. This is actually a terrible attempt at the drawing of Eve, from Adam and Eve, from the Jan van Eyck altarpiece. I forgot the name of it. The Ghent altarpiece, maybe it's called. But this was supposed to be Eve from, you can see how the angle, if you've ever seen the painting by Jan van Eyck, you can definitely see how I was inspired by that. Wasn't very successful at it, but hey, you know, this is actually looks really nice, I think. It's got a nice mood to it. It's like a melancholy female face looking down or something like that. Here's a really close-up sketch of my friend. You can see his, you know, he's holding his chin like this, and that's his mouth, that's his nose. So this was like super interesting for me to go back and look at this stuff, man. This is really cool. Let's see what else we have here. Here's another drawing of the Ghent altarpiece, I think it's called, by Jan van Eyck, featuring Eve. You know, I was trying to just get that subtle quality of how they did things back then. Here's another sketch. I forgot what this was. I think this was actually based off of that famous National Geographic painting of that Israeli woman or something, or Iraqi woman rather, I'm not sure. But I think that's what this was inspired by. So when you're starting out, guys, just like fool around, you know, practice, have fun. You know, that's what this is all about. That's kind of what I'm showing you here. Here's a sketch of a woman sitting down. You know, her hair is kind of turned to the side. So guys, just super interesting. Here's another sketch. I actually colored it in with, you know, with some dark oil pastels. They didn't hold up very well over time for some reason. Let's see what else is in here. A couple more sketches. Nothing real, kind of just monotonous, similar stuff. Nothing real profound. But man, did I have a long way to go. And I still have a long way to go, but this is very entertaining. Looks like another sketch that I did there or something. So let me know if you guys enjoyed this. If you guys want to see more sketchbook tours, please give this video a like. Please subscribe for more videos. And please feel free to email me at andrewmarlowe22@gmail.com if you have any questions. Please follow me on Instagram at andrewmarlowe20. What's the name of my Instagram? Andrew Marlowe Artist. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Again, this was a tour of my first sketchbook. I will try to find some of my first drawings. Maybe we'll do like a, you know, like an early painting tour as well. Welcome back to the studio, guys. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble about art. I really appreciate it. We'll see you guys in the next video.